What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Do Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifata Melafanu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
All right, well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it's just about 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we've got a little bit of news that started to hit the wires a little bit yesterday. Wanted to get a little bit more clarification before I dove into it, but we're going to bring on Hutch Jr. here in a second. It would appear that after the Lions lost to the Washington Commanders, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Lions star receiver, hey, everybody on the team was disappointed, upset that they lost the game. We get it. Apparently, St. Brown sent his a text to his coach around 4:30 a.m., starting to really kind of vent, rave, talking about the fact it appears he and most of the team already knew that Ben Johnson was donezo going to Chicago. We speculated about that a day or two ago, and you could feel from basically what's being reported that a conversation happened between both Dan Campbell and St. Brown. Dan Campbell kind of alluded to this in his presser just a day or two ago, said he had talked with a lot of his players, some of them very early in the morning. It would appear that St. Brown was one of those people, and that this might be a galvanizing force for the team. They're a little upset. You have some questions being raised. I'm not going to go into it, whether about Ben Johnson did this, that, or the other thing, or didn't do something. That's, to me, it's irrelevant. It's in the past now. But let's go ahead and bring on our special guest here. Let's bring on Hutch Jr. Hutch Jr., you hear about a Dan Campbell getting texts from players at 4:30 a.m. or other times in the morning. How much do you think this is really set in with the team, the players? And let me ask you also a second part of that. How much do you think this will become a motivating factor for the players and coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge, right? Because, I mean, this is arguably the best season in Detroit history.
Yep.
I think a lot of players, regardless of injuries or not, I think they expected more. I've talked to a few people, just kind of odds and ends. And I mean, me personally, like, I know Ben Johnson was, obviously I just got done watching his presser, but I know Ben Johnson was kind of, wanting to come back last year. I was under the assumption that maybe he wasn't coming back this year. And then, that he was going to come back this year. And then, you just kind of have that stinker game against the team you probably should have beat. And then, you just kind of hear players wanting to think like, man, was he really all there? I know St. Brown, he's not the type of guy to throw coaches under the bus. But there's just something about what happened in that game leading up to that just didn't resonate well with a lot of people. I think it probably doesn't resonate well with a lot of the players either. More or less probably St. Brown and these guys. Then you see Monty post his little thing yesterday about Ben Johnson going to the Bears.
It did.
So, yeah, it's weird to me, man. I think there's going to be a lot of animosity, and not animosity, but I think players are going to take this personal because this is a guy they trusted. This was a guy they were with for 4 years that gave them, best offense in football. And at the first jump of it, not even 48 hours later, you were signed with the Bears and heading to Chicago. Like I know St. Brown joked with him, but sometimes face tells it all, and he said it in his little his podcast. I told Ben Johnson we're gonna, F him up. And I truly think St. Brown means that. And, I think some of these players, that was kind of like their dad as far as some of their offensive schemes goes. And, it'd have been one thing like if you go to the Raiders or the Jags, but you took it personal when you went to the Bears and, just division rival, you know?
So let's move on the Ben Johnson aspect of things. But I get it. You know, you're either Team Johnson or not. You either think it's a big deal or not. And I'm not really here to talk about Johnson as much. I get St. Brown and some of the teammates are upset. I think we can all agree if the Lions don't have a gajillion injuries on defense, you know, there's a more realistic expectation they're playing this particular weekend and probably even in early February. With all that being said, the players that are going to return to this team, this very young core group of Detroit Lions, now have yet another chip on their shoulders. How much do you think this is going to be rocket fuel for them for this upcoming season in the offseason?
Yeah, I think now too, like, you look at these guys, and I mean, if anyone's paying attention to national media, people are now saying our Super Bowl window's closed. Well, that's kind of weird. Last year, our Super Bowl window was open, and you're now all of a sudden, because one offensive coordinator leaves, we still got a young core. We still got cap space. We still got these players. We still have all these things, but all of a sudden now our window's closed. So I think, you know, the media is now going to play as the Lions are the underdogs again, and that's just going to make the Lions more fueled to do what they want. They're going to try and win the NFC North again. Maybe they go back and win another number one seed. Maybe this time they do it. You know, yeah, I mean, I think these players now, I personally think they're ready to go right now. I think if Dan Campbell asked these guys, like, hey, you guys ready? I think they're probably, for all we know, they might even be at Allen Park working right now. We don't even know about it. I mean, these guys are so locked in, especially, you know, St. Brown and Sewell and Ragnow and these guys. I don't think they wanted the season to end, and it's going to suck losing some of these guys. But with the pieces that we have, I mean, you're going to find a D coordinator. You're probably going to hire within, and we'll be just fine.
So when you look at this team, I was talking about it in this morning show. It doesn't appear to me that the offense is really going to need a lot of work going into next year. But if you had to guess where they invest their draft picks, maybe I think the Lions have roughly $60 million in available cap for this upcoming season. Where do you think that money gets spent? Where do you think the draft picks are focused for next year?
Yeah, I think if I'm Brad Holmes, and this is just me, I think, me personally, I know a lot of people want D-line with, you know, probably go and get like a Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. If you do that, that just tells me, hey, you're going all in on this D-line.
Right.
But I think what we don't realize is, you know, we still have Zadarius Hunter another year, McNeil, DJ Reader. Hutch will be back fully healthy. McNeil will probably be back in November. Me personally, I mean, depending on what's going to happen with Carlton and, you know, stuff, I feel like our biggest weakness is our cornerback department. Terrion kind of had one of those up and down years. He kind of, you know, fell off at the beginning, then kind of had a steady growth. But if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm either trading for getting a corner, or I still think he goes D-line and he goes cornerback. Because I don't know what the plan is with Zeitler, but I think with plugging in Mahogany the way they did, he played well enough where they might let Zeitler walk, or they might bring him back on just kind of one more year, just kind of a vet deal, you know?
Right. Yeah, I could definitely see them if they can get Zeitler to come back, Mahogany one guard, Zeitler the other, and I think that line would be, man, that would be real good. All right, Hutch Jr., we won't make this the longest video ever. Why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out, and what do you say about St. Brown texting Dan Campbell at 4:30 in the morning? You think he was the only one, or you think there was probably a few people saying, man, let's wrap it up and let's get back after this thing?
Yeah, I think there's more people. It's kind of weird one of those off seasons too, because like usually our players are very active on social media with things.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not really active, I think they're kind of like locked in. I think they're ready. Yeah, I think they're ready to go back ball. And now with this Ben Johnson stuff, I think they're really, really ready, locked in. Like, okay, we're beating the Bears twice a year. We're gonna make you, you know, whatever. But yeah, as always, man, you guys can find me on here. Thanks, Dan, for all that you do, man. You know, keep doing what you're doing. And you can find me on Twitter, the one and only Hutch Jr., and then catch my Vibe Radio, cmvradio.com.
All right, Hutch Jr., I want to thank you for coming on the show as always. If you guys can, real quick, before you check out, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. You guys know it helps everybody out a ton on YouTube or social media. So go ahead, have a good day, do something kind for somebody you don't know. We'll see you guys all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.